What's good, y'all? It's your boy Third Degree. We're back with more ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So let's go.
Well, kicking it off, former NBA star Lamar Odom arrested for DUI in Las Vegas. I mean, dude still has not learned his lesson, right? I guess he's trying to say that the reports are false, it didn't happen, but bro, you had a second chance at life, and this is what you're doing? Anyway, moving on. The Parliament of Greenland just introduced a legislation that bans Donald Trump and all his descendants for 100 generations. Hot damn. Talk about petty, right? Because he's trying to take over that country, just like another short mustache person that we know. But that's another story. But moving on. Man, the Seahawks smashed the 49ers, right? Jeez, Hulk smash. It's going to be a good game between the Rams and the Seahawks this Sunday. So who y'all taking? Or who y'all got? All right, moving on. There's a mugshot of a Miami man who has gained widespread attention online for his uncanny likeness to R. Kelly. And maybe R. Kelly was right. Maybe it wasn't him in those tapes, huh? Nah, it was him. Anyway, all right, moving on. A missing teen with intellectual disability may have been lured away from home through Roblox. So, parents, be mindful. And kids, if you guys are out there watching it, please be mindful of strangers and weirdos and, just creeps. You know what I'm saying? Just please be mindful. Please don't meet nobody from online. All right, moving on. Talking about crazy work. ICE agents ate at a family-owned Mexican restaurant, then arrested its workers. Crazy, right? All right, moving on. Florida bride denied wedding venue refund after fiance's passing. Says venue suggested holding a memorial on her wedding day. Isn't that crazy? They would have been using that money to post my bill or something. I would have whooped the venue's ass for saying some crazy stuff like that to me or my fiance. You know what I mean? But moving on. Folks are giving praise and saluting Martin Lawrence for giving his healthier, younger look after recent weight loss, man. Shout out to him and keep winning, King. All right, moving on. A bear walked into a 7-Eleven, opened the fridge, grabbed the snacks, and walked out like a paying customer. Man, these bears are getting bold, right? Just like people, you know what I'm saying? But they walking gangster, like, what y'all gonna do? All right, y'all, moving on. Sarah Stokes sues Diddy and MTV for making her walk across New York to get cheesecake and more. Man, this woman will not stop until she gets a dime from Diddy, right? Talking about, I don't know, that's just weird. She's a little bit weird and strange for that, but hey, moving on. Backing up a little bit. 8 European nations back Greenland, Denmark against Trump threats and statement. So, hey, Trump's gonna mess around and find out, right? All right, moving on. Uncle Luke says Hispanic women treat black men better than black women do. He about to stir up the pot with that one, We'll talk about this on a future show, too. Moving on. Rapper Eve reveals she's suffering a mental health condition, man. Prayers out to her. I love Eve, man. So, prayers out to her. All right, moving on. Yo, shout out to R&R Breakfast Spot out in Moreno Valley, California. Jessica got the chicken and waffle sliders with some grits. I got the shrimp and grits, you know what I'm saying? They spicy, but they're delicious. The best I've had in Southern California since I've tasted them in the South. So go check them out. One more time, it's a beautiful pic, right? R&R Breakfast Spot in Moreno Valley, California. Check them out. Moving on. Man, these two been going at it like some cackling women, right? Don Lemon fires back and Nicki Minaj calls her pick me. Amongst other things, he also called her a tether, pretty much saying that she wasn't even a real black American, you know what I mean? Seeing as how she's an immigrant herself, right? Well, peep this. Nicki Minaj doubles down, calling Don Lemon a wang wang sucker, you know what I'm saying? So he's trying to pretty much say she's homophobic and all this other stuff, man, but peep this too. Trump is co-signing post saying Don Lemon should serve 40 years in prison for what? I don't know, but it's just weird work seeing as how Nicki keeps tap dancing for this dude right here. But anyway, moving on. It's being reported that Aaron Hall is missing after a year-long search. Man, I hope he's all right. Prayers out to him. Moving on. Real quick. Matter of fact, last time I seen him was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. At the New Edition concert. No, it was like 3 years ago. Going on 3 years now. You know what I mean? But prayers out. Moving on. Dr. Gladys West, mathematician who helped make GPS possible, had passed away at 95, so prayers out to her. You will be missed, and thank you for what you have done, Queen. Moving on. 50 Cent on the new set of Power Ordinance. Can't wait to check it out, man. Everything he touches has been gold as of late, right? So we look forward to that. Moving on. Also, y'all, make sure you go check out Melvin's in San Bernardino. $10 plates, always packed with flavor. Best chicken in Southern California. All right, moving on. It's been revealed that Michael Coulter is officially in talks to return as Luke Cage. He should, man. That was a great show. Scored done by Raphael Sadiq. I hope they bring that back, but he might appear in Avengers Doomsday. So let's hope and see. All right, moving on. Bruce Springsteen dedicated the song to Renee Good. Salute to him. Moving on. Pastor Mike Todd says it wasn't an attack on the church, it was an attack on your focus. End quote. You know what I'm saying? Of the Drewski skit that's been going viral and everybody's been talking about. So shout out to him. And we talked about it here on this show. So go back and check out the rebroadcast. All right. Moving on. Lizzo says she feels claustrophobic when it comes to monogamy because there are rules involved. We'll talk about that too. That's a good topic. All right, moving on. This past week, we celebrated Martin Luther King Day, and his daughter quoted, quote, "We love to quote King in and around the holiday, but then we refuse to live King 365 days of the year," end quote. Salute, Dr. Bernice A. King. All right, moving on. It's being reported that there's now a new Speedy Gonzalez movie in the works, from Warner Brothers. And, when things are going, the way things are going, Trump might actually try to deport Speedy Gonzalez and them for making the movie, right? In this climate. All right, moving on. Clip's name comeback of the year. Damn right. Damn right. All right, moving on. Italian fashion designer Valentino passed away at 93. Prayers out to him and his family. Moving on. Speaking of MLK, Kamala Harris visits statue or site of MLK's passing on his birthday. Salute to her. Moving on. It's being reported that Lunel and Albie Shore are reportedly dating. I don't know. Seemed like cap, but hey, salute to them if it's real. Yeah, moving on. A man jumped in while she was looking for a new man on Kendra G's single show. It was kind of ratchet, yo, but this is ratchet news, right? Moving on. NBA Youngboy quotes, "I don't know nothing about no Michael Jackson. I don't understand the stardom. I feel like certain ish be exaggerated sometimes. You got to think about it. They exaggerate about me sometimes, like it's going too far," end quote. How about we cancel him? Because then he said some dumb crap like this. He voices loyalty to Trump. So, hey, get him out of here too, man. He canceled. All right, moving on. Kyle Rittenhouse, after thinking about it, should I travel across the state line of Minnesota? Maybe no, you should take your monkey ass home. All right, moving on. Sinners break Oscars record with 16 nominations. Let's hope they sweep. All right, we be tuning in. Moving on. There is no Big Three no more. When Big Three was supposed to engage, only two of them decided to engage. There's a clear number one. His name is Kendrick Lamar, end quote, by Charlamagne the God. Right, moving on. Nicki Minaj clears $500,000 judgment linked to 2019 lawsuit involving Kenneth Petty, allowed to remain in Hidden Hills home. No wonder why she be out here tap dancing, shucking and jiving, and cock licking, Donald Trump and his regime. Makes sense, right? That's all I got. Let's get it on.
Anyway, I'm your boy Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet News. Enjoy the show.